Hello and welcome to Fresh Perspective, where we take another look at life. Hello everyone and welcome back to Fresh Perspective, where we take another look at life. Have you ever had a fight with your spouse and afterwards felt so bad about some of the things you said or the way you acted? And you thought about it for a while and thought maybe I should go and apologize. But you didn't. Because every time you thought about apologizing, you felt anxious. And then you justified not talking to them because you got angry all over again about what they did or what they said. The real reason you're not having that conversation is fear. And more particularly, it's the fear of rejection. You're afraid that you'll be vulnerable and apologize, and then your partner will still be angry or not accept your apology. And that will make you feel rejected or even abandoned. That's what's really going on. So how do we deal with that fear so we can have those conversations? Maybe you've guessed already, but this is all part of dealing with slow pain. I asked you last week if you are avoiding pain by avoiding important conversations. And this is what I meant. This is what I was talking about. If you think about having that conversation, you're actually using your imagination and you're imagining the worst actual outcome. So you create that outcome in your mind, and based on that image that you see, you avoid the conversation. So what I want you to try and do is imagine that worst case scenario in more detail, exactly what will happen, and then imagine how you can still act in a compassionate way, how you can still have empathy with your spouse and listen and pay attention to what they are saying. You actually then equip your mind to deal with that situation. And if you imagine it again and again and again, you actually also deal with that fear because you help your mind get used to that feeling and show it different ways that it can actually deal with it by seeing different scenarios, different ways that you act and react to your partner's response to your apology. Okay, I hope that makes sense. So what then will we say about grow pain? Because grow pain has to do with our goals and dreams, the fear will be the fear of failure. We'll try something, we'll create something, and it won't work. It'll fail. No one will like it. And that stops us from actually achieving those goals. Because if we fail, we'll feel embarrassed. Or maybe it's even a deeper fear. Maybe the fear of failure is about feeling that will actually confirm that you are not good enough, that you don't actually have what it takes. So instead of trying to achieve your goals and dreams, you avoid them because of this fear. And you can use the same imagery and imagination that you use to create that picture of the failure to create your response, how you will act if you fail. What will you do? How will you fix the things that got broken in the process? How can you learn from that failure? And if you do that, you actually prepare your mind more and more to go for that goal, to try and achieve it. Because you're showing you different scenarios that you can explore. And also, the fear will diminish because you're exposing yourself to that fear over and over again. But it's really important to imagine it in detail because most of the times the image that we see when we imagine the rejection or the failure is kind of quick. It's just this quick image of what might happen. And then we go immediately to the fight or flight mode. We get angry and we withdraw, or we use our anger to actually push our partners away. So you have to get into the detail of both these scenarios and imagine exactly what will happen if that rejection or that failure realizes, if that is actually what happens. If you give it more detail, when you imagine your response, you can also imagine more detail in that response, how you will react in that situation. What will you do? And this actually either helps you heal or grow. Maybe I'll say one more thing about slow pain, grow pain, and the fears involved. Maybe you already realize this, but psychologists will mostly deal with slow pain because it's about healing the wounds from the past. And actually they help us look at arrested development, because if you are stuck, if you are not taking action because of pain and the fear involved in that pain, it causes you to be stuck in a certain area of your life. That area isn't developing. It's called arrested development. It's stuck there. And that's what psychologists mostly help us do, is find ways to deal with the past, to imagine new ways of behaving, to imagine ourselves taking action. On the other hand, life coaches usually deal with growth pain and the fears involved in that. They help us to see what we believe that's actually limiting us. They help us set goals that's realistic and can help us gradually get to where we want to be to achieve what we want to achieve. So I want you to try and be your own psychologist and life coach by using only your imagination. And you can even write down the details. So this is what will happen in the worst case scenario here, and this is what I'd like to be able to do even if that happens. And if I fail over here, this is how I can respond, this is how I can fix it, this is what I might learn from it. And if you go through these images and think about what I want to be able to do afterwards, you are already learning. So you don't even have to go through the experience before you learn things already. And that equips you to even better deal with the scenarios, to even better facilitate that conversation where you want to apologize, or equip you to go for that goal and dream in a more determined and confident way. Okay, I hope this helps and makes sense to you, and hopefully you've gained a fresh perspective. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you again next time. Keep it fresh.